Good evening, viewers. This is your host, Dr. Gilbert Githere, coming to your homes with another session of Mazungumzo. I hope you've been enjoying it. This is part 28. We're right inside the story of being and time. It's very relevant, written by a German philosopher, Martin Heidegger, but it is very, very appropriate if you are to understand the present digital age of temporality, past, present, and future interacting is very, very appropriate. And this is what I'm doing. But before I go into the gist of the whole thing, I always like to do a bit of music. And who else should I visit with rather than Bob Marley, our friend and mentor, with this song, Redemption Song. Oh, pirates, they robbed I, so light to the merchant ship. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit. Our hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. Fast forward to this generation, triumphantly. Would you help me sing the song of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption song. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. No one else but ourselves will free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy, for it cannot stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand still and look? Some say it's part of it, God fulfill the book. Won't you help me sing the songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption songs. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Nobody else but ourselves will free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, for it cannot stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand still and look? Some say it's part of it, go fulfill the book. Go fulfill, would you help me sing the songs of freedom? That's Bob Marley. Beautiful songs. You remember him jumping around during the freedom of the South African people, helping them to fight the colonialists during those times. Thank you, Bob Marley, wherever you are. Now, I'm going to go just a little bit. Being on time is very, very relevant. Today is 2023, July 3rd. Tomorrow is Independence Day in the US. It's a big, big time right now. And many things are happening globally. But the most important thing that just happened in the US, because US, as you remember by Alex Tocqueville, when he wrote about democracy, he picked America as the home of democracy. But just the other day, the Supreme Court passed a law that actually makes the president of the US almost equivalent to a king. His official acts are immune to the law. That's a king. That's why Americans, when they were in England, the pilgrimage who came to America, they came saying they're coming for freedom, but it's questionable but that's what they came for. They wanted to leave the kingship back in England and Europe and come to America and settle and have freedom as they wanted. The individual, the classical liberalism, individual, free, no excess taxation, no excess government, separation of power, check and balances everywhere. We are seeing the end of this. And then just last year on 2021, January 6th, there was a coup in the US. So I'm not going to go very much into the details of it, but this is this crucial time. And being in time, I've been feeding you with what makes history, historicity. But historicity actually has been told very, very clearly all the time is a temporal aspect. It has temporality. The time factor in the temporal world is immaterial. It's not really important. The mind of a human being travels temporarily from past, present, and into the future. The human mind lives in those environments all the time. It's living in those environments all the time. And time travel in humans is a common thing. It's happening every time, every minute. You are revisiting your past, you're seeing your present, and you're connecting your present and past to the future. How am I going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now? That's the temporal dance that Being and Time covers ably, Martin Heidegger. Making present. Now, making present is happening right now. It's happening today. People are making their own history. Because one thing the digital age has allowed us, or postmodernity has allowed us, is that we can make our own history right now. And that's what people are doing. This is not what I really is the best example because I don't know why TikTok was formed. But TikTok is from the word tick, tock, tock, is the clock. It's immediate, timely news in the social media, which everybody is blessed to have the permission to put his own production in specific time and see himself and address his peers or globally be able to get audience. And people have taken opportunity of that. And artificial intelligence is facilitating that aspect of immediate, right now news. And it's happening. And the young people, they have realized that they can write their own history, especially people in the developed world or the indigenous people of the formerly colonized lands are using that facility effectively. I don't know whether they have exploited it even 20%, but what they are doing, they are telling their own story. These are what my niece, Neema Githere, in her philosophy of Afro-presentism, the digital guerrilla out there is doing, is rewriting history, is retelling his story. They are decolonizing their minds. They are reclaiming their memories, as Ngugi wa Thiong'o has written ably about that. Reclaiming your memory, cleansing yourself of the gunk of colonialism. This is happening in the digital age. And you should thank the AI, chip chat, and the coming of the internet. And that's where you realize temporality that have been discussed. You're living it now. The hyper-reality that Jean Baudrillard in his book, The Simulacra, in 1983, he wrote the coming of the hyper-reality when the real of the past will change, the truth of the past will change, and the truth will be created immediate. The truth is become a commodity that is played with in the social media. Yes, and you will forgive me, I am not going into the spiritual aspect of the truth as from religion, but it's the message, the language. Because language is the house of is the house of soul. The soul of a human being actually lives in his language or her language. So the language that the media is using today, the truth that it is telling, it actually makes it at that particular time is when that truth is conveyed. And how you convey it upon the individual. Because he's not looking at it and referring to somebody's spirituality. He's actually talking about it as he sees it, the nuances of it, the toxicity of it is so immediate. And he puts it out there because it must be quick. Can it go viral? He's struggling to see whether he can do, but he's actually enjoying his freedom. And it's a great thing. We should celebrate that aspect. Some people are trying to take it from human beings. They're trying to kind of retrieve it from them. You can see the scare in people's eyes when they talk about artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence, as Nema Githere says it, is almost the equivalent of incantation. Algorithms that form up the digital and the binary aspect of the message being consumed is almost spiritual. And we must actually be very, very thankful of people who came before us and invented the digital world, the internet. As we know, we hope it will survive the time, but it will. Because that's what was intended to be. Go back to 15th century when Gutenberg brought us the printing press, took away the power of the pen from the monasteries, from the people who had kept knowledge to be a facility or a weapon of the powerful, of the rulers. Books were so few and they were only printed to tell the story of the kings. And then Gutenberg came out with the printing press. Then forward, 800 centuries later or 600 later, you have the artificial intelligence freeing the people You can tell your own story. Everybody has a podcast. He's telling his story. And this is a beautiful thing. We should celebrate it. Never, we should not try to hinder it. There are so many people, and you can see it in Europe. People are trying to go to the philosophy of 1939, nationalism, when kings and governments were powerful. They're actually longing for the day Europeans were under nationalists. You can see it because they want something they're familiar with to dominate the rest of the world. But that world is gone. It's fading into the night. And there are people who are scared because they are seeing true freedom coming to human beings. The day of freedom is coming, and it's with us. And that's what we should celebrate. And that is why when I was covering being on time, people would have wondered, why is Gilbert so interested in being in time? Because being in time, Martin Heidegger's piece, is what tells us what simulacra is all about. It actually put together. And then Jean Bourriade with other people around, Kwame Appiah, I like Kwame Appiah, very futuristic, Arvin Toffler, even someone like Kanye West and Molefi Asanta. These people have actually helped us to see the freedom coming in the world of computers. When you will say, oh, did the indigenous people have a way to acquire knowledge irrespective of the arrival of the colonialist? Yes, Molefi Asante told us Afrocentrism, things written from this African center. He told us the traditional knowledge was enough to take us into postmodernity. That's another story. Until we meet again, this is part 28 of Being in Time. We're going to consume it. We're going to digest it in part 29, because now we're going to bring them things happening now and connect them to temporality and historicity. It's very temporality. If you look at the dance of life, it borrows from the past, it brings it past here now, the TikTok now, and it connects it up and weaves it. It's a web of statements, to quote Oman van Quine. And then it tries to disentangle it to see the future using statements. And the presentism, the now and the inventions, helping us to see the future, where we're going to be. I'm going to do just another song by Bob Marley, just to wind up, today. And this is No Woman, No Cry. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. 'Cause I remember when we used to sit in the government yard in Trench Town, Huba, observing those hypocrites, mingling with the good people we met. Good friends we have had, good friends we lost, baby, along the way. So what a bright future, we can't forget the past. So baby, wipe up your tears, I say. No woman no cry, no woman no cry, no woman no cry, no woman no cry. And Gloria will make the fire light, and it will burn throughout the night. We will cook comforted with it, of which I will share with you. And when I'm gone, everything gonna be alright. Baby, everything gonna be alright. Oh, little sister, don't wipe up your tears. No woman no cry, no woman no cry, no woman no cry, no woman no cry, no woman no cry. Bob Marley, beautiful song. I think that can bring us to the conclusion of this part 28 of Mazungumzo. Your host, Dr. Gilbert Gisharo Githere, saying ciao ciao until we meet again. And this program is dedicated to Generation Z. Thank you for everything.